Hi, and welcome to Ivy English. I'm Angela.
And I'm Wesley.
Today is the 25th of December, and we're on page 72 of the magazine. And we're on our second day of a Hotpot discussion. Which, honestly, 2 days in a row of talking about Hotpot. Yeah. Now I'm really hungry.
Okay.
Also, it's a good topic for Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's our topic?
Our topic is Hotpot. It's the topic. The title is called...
Oh, yeah.
The title is called? No. The title is Japan is Crazy About Hotpot. So now Taiwan is crazy about Hotpot, but apparently Japan is also crazy about Hotpot. And I've never lived in Japan, so I didn't really know that till today. Yesterday we talked about two kinds of hotpot in Japan. The first one is shabu shabu, which is honestly the most common kind of hotpot here in Taiwan as well. And then there's sukiyaki, which I've had without realizing it was classed as a hot pot. I just thought it's just a really delicious dish. Mm-hmm. But the point is, the difference between sukiyaki and shabu shabu is that sukiyaki has got like soy sauce and sweet ingredients, and shabu shabu is cooked in soup stock. And soup stock is basically is made by cooking bones in water until you get the good stuff out of the bones.
就是我们所谓的高汤
Yes, yes.
Yeah. 好，所以我们这个中文的标题，这篇文章中文标题呢是 Oishi 日本锅物大巡礼
Yeah. Okay, so today we have three other kinds of hot pot. The first one is chankonabe, and the second one has got a French word in it, and it's Milfoyanabe, and the third one is Yamanabe. So let's read the article and find out what these delicious soups are. Chankonabe is a hearty stew guaranteed to pack on the pounds. Since the late 1800s, chankonabe has been served to sumo wrestlers looking to gain weight. Interestingly, there is no fixed recipe for this style of hot pot, except for the use of dashi, chicken broth with sake, or another type of rice wine called mirin. In other words, any type of meat and vegetables that cooks have on hand can be thrown in. It's served in large portions, often with other foods such as fried chicken, so that sumo wrestlers can maintain their significant body weight. Milfoyanabe. A less fattening Japanese hot pot that has an attractive visual element is Milfoyanabe. Made with mostly pork belly slices and cabbage, it's easy to prepare since this hot pot requires fewer ingredients than other kinds of nabemono. It is the cabbage that gives rise to the use of the French name millefeuille, which means 1,000 sheets. The remaining soup can also be enjoyed with steamed rice or noodles. Yamanabe. Yamanabe, which is more of a concept than a specific dish, is a dining experience like no other. The name means dark hot pot, which is quite appropriate since the meal is cooked and eaten in a dark room. Everyone brings their own ingredients to add to the pot, but they don't know what else is being added. Therefore, no one knows exactly what they are picking out of the broth. Once something has been selected, the diner is required to eat it. Sounds like the ultimate surprise, doesn't it? That's only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to nabemono. These 5 hot pots are just the start of a wonderfully delicious nabemono journey. Okay, so let's talk about chankonabe. It is a hearty stew. Hearty means that it really fills you up and it just makes you feel like you've eaten well. Another way to say it is it's stick to your ribs. And hearty and stew, it's basically redundant because stew is supposed to be hearty. If you had a thin stew, you know you're at a really sort of stingy household. Stews should be thick and hearty. And this is a hearty stew guaranteed to pack on the pounds. It's guaranteed to make you gain weight.
好，所以我们可以看到这个地方他说这个 chankonabe 我们中文叫做香扑锅它是一个 hearty stew. Hearty 如果指食物的话，就是指大量的丰盛的食物我们常常讲a hearty breakfast， 早上吃的很棒 很丰盛。好，那 stew 就是这个炖的菜啊，炖的肉啊等等的。通常这个 stew 感觉起来就很 hearty 啊，所以这你可以说它是有一点 redundant， 但是在这里它两个都写，那给你感觉就是哇非常丰盛的感觉。所以这个香扑锅呢是这个很大量的这个 stew 炖锅啊，炖肉炖物啊，然后呢 guaranteed 它是保证会pack on the pounds， 就是让你变胖啊 ，pack on 就是这个装上去啊，这个换句话说会让你有很多很多的多余的或者多出来这个磅的这个重量，也就是让你变胖的意思 ，pack on the pounds.
Now, since the late 1800s, chankonabe has been served to sumo wrestlers. This makes sense. And they are looking to gain weight. Of course they're looking to gain weight because sumo is all about having the weight and the skill, but you need to have the weight. And so, yeah, of course they want to eat a hearty stew.
从这个19世纪晚期啊，那这个时候呢，这个香扑锅呢 has been served 就被服务被端给或者让他们去吃啊，让谁吃呢？让这些相扑选手来吃。那这些相扑选手怎么样？他们是 looking to， 他们一心想着 looking to 可以把它翻成一心想着。所谓的 to look to 就是 to direct your thoughts or attention to something， 就是他们一心想着就是要 gain weight， 他们因为相扑要有体格，所以他们就希望能够让自己越来越重啊，越重越好。所以对于一心想着要变胖的这些相扑选手来讲呢，从19世纪末开始，他们就开始在吃相扑锅。
Interestingly, there is no fixed recipe for this style of hot pot. So actually there isn't a particular way of doing this, except for one thing. It's the use of dashi, which is chicken broth with sake. Super delicious addition to your meals, by the way. And another type of rice wine called mirin. And mirin is also kind of like sticky sweet. It's thick. And both of them, they give kind of a sweet, really attractive flavor to your food.
所以 interestingly 蛮有趣的是呢 there is no fixed recipe， 没有固定的 recipe 就食谱或者是做法，就这个香扑锅没有固定的做法没有固定的食谱。For this style of hot pot 就是指香扑锅except for 除了你一定会用什么 the use of dashi 就是日式高汤 chicken broth 是鸡汤with sake 里面有这个加了清酒的，或者是呢 another type 另外一种米酒称为这个米酒味淋
In other words, any type of meat and vegetables that cooks have on hand can be thrown in. It's basically a kitchen sink recipe.
Yeah.
You put everything in, including the kitchen sink. Put some dashi in and mirin on top, and
yeah,
yep.
所以呢，这里讲到说，换句话说这个任何的肉 ，any type of meat and vegetables， 还有蔬菜 that cooks have。就是厨师有的 on hand 就手边，所以换句话说，厨师手边有的任何的肉或者是蔬菜呢，都可以被丢进去。
It's served in large portions, well, obviously, and often with other foods such as fried chicken, so that sumo wrestlers can maintain their significant body weight. Bring on the chankonabe and the fried chicken.
所以呢 ，it's served 就是这个东西。吃的时候呢是 large portions， 它分量很大portion 就是分量，一份一份的分量。那 often with other food 常常要配其他的食物一起吃，例如怎么样 fried chicken， 例如炸鸡so that 目的是这个让这些相扑选手sumo wrestlers 可以 maintain 维持他们的 significant body weight， 他们那个可观的体重significant 放在这里蛮好的这就是适合在这里用。各位想到那个相扑选手，你就可以说他们的 significant body weight 非常可观的体重。
The next kind of hot pot is called Milfoyanabe. And Milfoy is actually a French term which means 1,000 sheets or 1,000 layers. So it's often used actually as the name of a dessert of a many-layered cake. But here we have many-layered hot pot. And it is a less fattening Japanese hot pot that has an attractive visual element.
所以呢，我们可以看到这个地方讲到这个千层白菜猪肉锅啊，那这个名字的前面那个是个法文啊，它就是等一下我们讲到它的意思就是1000层的意思。所以呢，这是一个比较不会那么让你发胖的日本火锅啊 ，less fattening 啊 ，fattening 就是会让你变胖的，那但是它是 less 比较不会让你发胖的一个日本火锅啊。那而且这火锅它有一个这个 attractive， 就是很吸睛的一个 visual element， 很吸睛的一个视觉上的元素啊。那这个就是千层白菜猪肉锅，所以它有一个视觉上的元素还蛮吸睛的，那它也比较不会让你那么胖。
It's made with mostly pork belly slices and cabbage. And it's easy to prepare since this hot pot requires fewer ingredients than other kinds of nabemono. I mean, normal hot pot, you want to have all different kinds of stuff, and it's kind of a pain to prepare, which is one reason why people like to go out for it instead of eat it at home. But this one is just pretty simple to make at home. Also, it sounds a little bit like
酸菜白肉锅
Yeah, which is my favorite kind.
啊，所以它 made with 它是由什么做成的呢？ Mostly 大多数是 pork belly slices， 就是猪五花肉的肉片啊。Pork belly 就是这个通常就是猪五花肉的那个部分了啊。然后呢，还有 cabbage， 还有大白菜。好，所以它只有这两样，主要是这两样东西。那 it's easy to prepare， 很容易准备，因为呢，这一种 hot pot requires fewer ingredients， 它需要的食材比较少 than other kinds of 比其他种类的这个锅物所需要的食材还要少一点。
So it is the cabbage that gives rise to the use of the French name Milfoyanabe, which means 1,000 sheets. If something gives rise to something, it sort of is the reason for it, or is the thing that brings it about. And so because the cabbage looks like so many layers, so they call it the 1,000-sheet hot pot.
没错哈，所以他这里讲到说 it is the cabbage 是大白菜啊 that 使得怎么样 gives rise to 就是这个to make something happen 或者是 begin， 所以是大白菜给了这个 the use of the French name， 给了这个法国名字的使用，换句话说就是主要是大白菜，所以让它有了这个法国的名字啊。因为法国的名字呢，它的意思就是 1,000 sheets 1000层。我讲，因为白菜看起来它好像一层一层的，所以它的感觉就是像千层那样子。
And the remaining soup can also be enjoyed with steamed rice or noodles.
Remaining 剩下来的这个汤呢，也可以被吃啊，被享用。搭配什么享用呢？搭配 steamed rice 就是白饭啊，蒸出来的饭，或者是 noodles， 或者是面啊。那这个台北也有这种火锅的吃法，就是吃到最后的时候呢，最后一道就是他服务生会送上这个 steamed rice 上来，然后就你把它丢到那个火锅里面去，把它煮成稀饭这样子吃。
Or they give you noodles or...
Yeah, 或者是用 noodles 也有可能。
Or what we call in English glass noodles, which is...
冬粉
Yeah.
And
that's great because it soaks up all of the nice soup at the bottom and you can just eat it down with the noodles.
But you know, it's very fattening. Glass noodles.
I don't... Really?
Yeah.
No.
Well...
Not for me.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, it was a surprise to me too.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't eat it that often, but I've never noticed that I gained weight from glass noodles. I feel like glass noodles are really insubstantial. Like,
yeah, that's what I thought too. But
yeah, but apparently...
Obviously it's not.
But they're made
it's
from beans, so that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe it sucks up all the soup.
It sucks up all the soup and the oil from the soup.
Yeah.
But that's good for you. You got to eat the oil.
Yeah, 好，所以这个地方就讲到说，它这个通常呢，这个剩下的汤你就可以搭配饭或者是面来吃。
Okay, and now we're at the last one, which is not like the others. We're at Yamanabe, which is, the author says, Yamanabe, which is more of a concept than a specific dish, is a dining experience like no other. It's more like a game of truth or dare than a meal.
Yeah, 这个Yamanabe 我们中文啊，这个称它为暗锅哈，那个暗就是一个门里面一个阴哈，那其实就是因为它这个吃这个锅之后是暗暗的哈，你这个黑黑的 不知道吃了什么东西进去啊，所以刚刚 Angela 老师讲有一点像是一种游戏所以他这里讲到说这种暗锅呢 which is more of a concept than a specific dish 好 more of A than B 就是说你与其说它是 B 呢不如说它是 A 好，所以这地方讲到说与其说 B 就是 a specific dish 与其说它是一个特别的一种火锅不如说 is more of 不如说它是一个 concept 它是一种概念所以它比较不是一个特定的一种火锅而是说它其实是一种概念吃的概念所以这个东西呢这个暗锅呢 is a dining experience 它是一种用餐的经验 like no other 就是与众不同它是一种与众不同的用餐经验
The name means dark hot pot, which is quite appropriate since the meal is cooked and eaten in a dark room. Okay, first of all, that's creepy. This is definitely some Halloween type stuff here.
Yeah. 然后这个名字呢意思就是 dark 黑暗的 hot pot 所以我们中文叫暗锅嘛那 which is quite appropriate 那这个名字取得相当的合适为什么呢 Since the meal is cooked and eaten 这种食物呢是烹煮而且食用 in a dark room 在一个黑暗的房间里面所以这个暗锅在黑暗黑漆漆的房间里面吃的火锅叫暗锅
Presumably there's a candle so you can find the hot pot.
Hopefully.
I guess there's the fire under the hot pot to light the room.
Probably.
Making it creepier again.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, okay, here's the thing though. Everyone brings their own ingredients to add to the pot. And they don't know what else is being added. Everyone adds their ingredients to the meal secretly. So you don't know what it is you're going to be pulling out of the hot pot, which...
yeah, I'm not sure if I like it.
It depends on the friends. If you trust your friends, then you trust the hot pot.
Well, that's the point.
I know. But there's always going to be one sneaky friend who's like, I totally know what I'm going to bring.
Yeah. 所以这地方讲到说这个每一个人呢 brings 会带来他们自己的 ingredients 食材to add to the pot 把它加到这锅里面去但是呢他们不知道 they don't know what else is being added 他们不知道除了他们自己带的东西之外还有什么其他的东西被加到锅里面去因为你根本不知道你的朋友会加什么东西进去这个因为有的火锅料我是不喜欢吃的所以这个东西听起来有点恐怖你万一吃到你不喜欢吃的火锅料那就这个总是觉得不太高兴
If I was invited to such a dinner, I would bring those little tiny octopuses. Because, you know what I mean? If you're in the dark and you put one of those in your mouth, you're going to be like, whoa, because just tentacles everywhere, right? Yeah.
这个 Angela 老师还蛮坏的
I'm terrible.
他会带那种小章鱼那你不知道吃到章鱼的时候吃到它的触角什么的话大家想这什么东西
Yeah, and they've got that little skeleton inside that you have to pull out. It's very, very appropriate for this. Anyways, so because everyone adds the thing in the dark, therefore, no one knows exactly what they are picking out of the broth. And you're putting it into your mouth in the dark. Oh, I could never do this.
Yeah.
No.
因此呢没有人知道 exactly 到底what they are picking out of the broth 他们从这个肉汤里面到底是夹了什么东西出来所以这个大概有的人可能觉得很好玩但是not for me.
No, not for me either. Anyways, here's the kicker though. Once something has been selected, the diner is required to eat it. Now, here's the thing. In my family, that has always been true.
Ooh.
You're not allowed to pick out of the soup or whatever. You just scoop the scoop, and whatever comes up in the scoop, you have to eat it. So this has been my whole life.
Okay.
But at least we didn't eat in the dark.
Yeah, at least you know what you're eating.
Yeah. Well, mostly.
所以他说呢，这个一旦某个东西被选了就是你一旦从锅子里面捞出来了，那 the diner is required to eat it， 你就一定非吃不可。那刚刚 Angela 讲到说，其实他们家里面小时候在家里面也是这个，我觉得是这种 table manners， 就是你不能拿着那个瓢子在汤里面搅来搅去，看你要吃什么东西就是你舀出来是什么你就一定要吃不能说看得不高兴再丢回去再重新舀 Yeah.
But that's the pleasure of Hotpot, is that you're allowed
Yeah.
in Taiwanese culture to pick the thing you want out of the hot pot. Like, dude, yes.
Yeah. 所以这个现在我们就知道 Angela 老师喜欢这个 Hotpot 的原因啊。另外一个原因呢，就是因为吃火锅的时候呢，你可以挑你喜欢吃的东西
It's
加起来吃。
not impolite. You can just be like, oh, I want this little morsel.
Yeah.
But going back to Yamanabe, this whole business of you have to just pick something in the dark out of a dark soup and eat it sounds like the ultimate surprise, doesn't it? It is, and not in a good way.
Yeah. The ultimate surprise 是终极的这个惊喜，所以呢，感觉起来、听起来呢，这好像是会带来终极的这个惊喜吧，对不对啊？那当然这个是个结尾了啊。那我想对于很多人来讲，这个惊喜还蛮恐怖的
Yeah.Anyway, so these 5 dishes, these are only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to nabemono. So there's many more kinds of nabemono under the waterline in this iceberg, and you're welcome to go to Japan and try them all out. I'm not sure that metaphor worked very well.
Yeah.
Although it would be a cold pot if there was an iceberg in it, yes?
Yeah. 这个 the tip of the iceberg 啊，就是这个冰山的一角。那刚刚这 Angela 是开玩笑，因为我们在吃火锅，那这个冰山的一角，火锅可能会把冰山融掉哈。不过 anyway 这个是很常见的一个 expression 哈 ，the tip of the iceberg 就是冰山的一角，表示还有很多其他的我们还没有看的或者看不到的。所以他说 when it comes to 当我们要谈这个锅物的时候呢，以上讲的只不过是一点点而已啊，是冰山的一角。
And our article ends with a kind of summing up sentence, which is meant to be encouraging and jaunty, and it says, These 5 hot pots are just the start of a wonderfully delicious nabemono journey. So go off and eat all of the nabemono.
所以他说这5种的这个火锅呢，只不过是 the start of a wonderful, delicious nabemono journey. 它只不过是一个很棒的、很美味的锅物之旅的开始，也就是说还有其他的你可能可以去尝试一下各种各样不同的火锅。
And now we have another kind of journey for you, a journey of questions. And the number 1 question is, where would this passage, this article that we just read, where would it most likely be found?
本文最有可能在哪里被找到呢？
The answer is most likely D, on a food and travel blog.
在一个美食旅游部落格当中。
And number 2, where does shabu shabu get its name from?
好，这个刷刷锅的名字从哪里来呢？
The answer is A. It comes from the sound made as the food cooks in the pot.
答案是 A， 它是食物在锅里烹煮的声音。
That's not exactly correct. It's the sound of the meat swishing in the water, but close enough.
Yeah.
Number 3, which of the following statements is not true, according to the passage?
根据本文，以下叙述何者为非呢？
The answer is B. Milfoyanabe originated in France. This is not true, but they did use a French word to name it.
答案是 B 啊，因为 B 说千层白菜猪肉锅源自法国，这是错的哈。它的名字是用法文啊，但是并不是说这个锅来自法文，所以这个叙述是错的，也因此它是正确答案。
And number 4, below is a picture of some friends eating nabemono. According to the passage, what kind of nabemono are they eating? And since they're fishing disgusting things like donuts and pizza and sushi out of the soup, which, I'm going to just straight up go ahead and be like, yep, it's Yamanabe, and that is C. Because, would you ever put donuts in hot pot? Oh, no.
好，那这个地方呢，我们先看题目啊。题目说，以下是一群朋友在吃锅物的图片。那根据本文，他们在吃的是哪一种锅物呢？啊，那我们可以看到他把这个披萨把它丢到锅子里面去，所以显然呢，应该是答案是 C， 是暗锅啊。你根本不知道别人丢了什么东西进去啊，你拿起来还是得吃。不过我想这个披萨放在火锅里面绝对不会好吃的。
On the other hand, if you did a pizza spice 火锅, I could be down with that concept. If you could dip like pieces of pepperoni and maybe little cheese tidbits, like...
Maybe.
Oh, it could be really disgusting too. Yeah. I'm trying to make this work and I'm not sure.
Not for me, again.
Again, not for you. You're just a straight up shabu shabu kind of guy.
Yes.
Yes. Anyway, so this is the info we have had for you on Hotpot in Japan. And please come again the next time for more exciting Ivy English content. Until